This is my day 8 of keto journal recording. This morning I weighed 256.4 pounds, which is a 0.6 pound drop from 257, which I weighed on day 7. It's a nice start, a nice continuation. I think that this is suggesting that now I am on that phase of possibly steady weight loss if I maintain this, which is a good place to be. I'm finally, I think, done with the keto flu. I had pretty good energy today. And now I think what I should be seeing, if my body is going to behave as it has in the past, I will see some days of half a pound weight loss, and then there'll be a stall at some point, which will be a very slow week where nothing will happen. I don't exactly know the science behind that, but I think, or at least what I've read, is that as your fat cells start to decrease or shrink, there comes a point where the fat cells either need to die and break apart, or they need to completely shrink before there is a sort of massive weight loss, basically when you break through a plateau. This is sort of the challenge with the human body, is that we get these sort of metabolic set points where once your body has gotten to a certain level, it really doesn't want to go above or below without significant effort. So when I was at 240, that was a long-standing thermic metabolic set point, and it took a lot of work, essentially, or a lot of non-work, in the sense of not working out and eating a lot, to go above the 250 and into the 260. And now that I'm there, my body does not want to very easily drop the weight that it had earned. So now that it's letting go of that set point, I should see a steady, consistent weight loss, provided that I continue to have most of my energy coming from ketones as opposed to carbohydrates. I was thinking about why this is important to me. When I was younger, obviously, most people want to lose weight to look good, particularly for the opposite sex. You want to look good for the ladies, so that when you go out, you have a shot with them. Well, now that I'm married, that's not an issue. I mean, that isn't to say that I don't want to look good for people, or that the idea of being attractive to other people is not important, but obviously that becomes much less of a concern. But at the same time, you don't want aesthetics to go completely out the window. So what is the motivation to go on a keto diet and try and drop the weight? Because the reality is, at 260 pounds, while I'm overweight, I'm not obese from a societally accepted standpoint. No one would say that I am having a problem, but that doesn't change the fact that I would like to drop this remaining weight. And fundamentally, I think that there's two motivations that really propel me to do this again. The first one is the reality that mortality is, while it's not around the corner, you can see it coming. And what I really don't want is to become dependent upon someone. So, I joke with my trainer. It's like, oh, six-pack abs, those sound really great, but what's really sexy? What's really sexy is not needing a nurse to help you get off the toilet. So, yeah, that's actually a really big motivator for me. I think that a lot of the arthritis and pain that a lot of older people face is due to dietary choices and compounding lifelong choices, that I think if I can get into the habit of avoiding the things that cause a lot of the inflammation, I can have a quality of life, or whatever the term of my life is. While I would like to live as long as possible, I would like to have the highest quality life, and I think that is not possible through a standard American diet. I think, while I don't have the research to back it up, I'm pretty sure that if we look at the quality of life of people who have, let's say, a more Mediterranean diet or non-standard Western diet, their elderly years are on average significantly better. And the other motivation for me is this idea that I'd read, and I'm going to butcher the quote, but it was something from one of Plato's works. It is a disgrace to grow old through sheer carelessness, before seeing the manner of man you may become by developing your bodily strength and beauty to their highest limits. It's a really amazing concept, this idea that there is some, not perfect you, because I don't think that perfection exists, but there's this ultimate you that you can become. And every day, that whatever is that ultimate you, that highest limit, decreases in some way, shape, or form, or increases depending upon the choices that you make. And this idea that you should strive to attain the highest physical ideal that you can achieve in your life, at least at some point before you die. And so, while I'm in much better shape in my life than I've been in my entire adult life, I know that I'm not at the best possible shape that I could be. I would like to, even if it's just for a day, a week, something where I can look back and say, yes, I have achieved the highest capable physical form, aesthetic that I could possibly achieve. And I think that striving for that and coming close to that paragon of what you are capable of achieving is an important journey in the human life, and it's one that should be taken and should be strived for your entire life. You know, I think the individuals who wind up having the greatest quality of life, I mean, you could call them vain, but the idea that they are constantly striving to achieve whatever is the greatest physical perfection that they can achieve at this point in their life. Those people, shooting for the stars, they hit the moon, and they wind up having a much greater quality of life than the individuals who say, you know what, I'm 60, who cares if I go to the gym or not? It doesn't really matter. So those are the two things that at this point are motivating me to move forward. In some ways, that is also, I guess, what motivates me as a source of life's joy. This idea of you can always improve something as long as you're alive. So every day, if you can look back at the end of the day and say, okay, I'm a little bit better at one thing than I was earlier in the day because of the efforts that I took, then that was a day well lived and well spent.